Live from Lagos, Nigeria, this is News Central. I'm Felicity Ezewike. The top stories tonight. Northern governors warn that region heading to brink of losing its future to escalating insecurity and poverty. Nigeria places Guinea-Bissau's opposition presidential candidate under protection amid reports of threats to life. Bangladesh court sentences UK lawmaker Tulip Siddiq in absentia to 2 years in prison for corruption in land deal.
In business, Nigeria's gross domestic product rate in real terms grew by 3.98% in the third quarter of 2025 on year-on-year basis.
And in sports, South Africa becomes the first country to announce its squad ahead of the Africa Cup of Nations, with familiar names making the team. Details later.
Tonight begins now. Thank you for being here. Tonight begins in Kaduna State, where the Northern State Governors Forum and the Northern Traditional Rulers Council warned that the region may lose its future to escalating terrorism and deepening poverty unless there is urgent constitutional changes. The leaders gave the warning on Monday at an emergency joint meeting held at the Sir Kazim Ibrahim House in Kaduna. The high-level parley, which convenes the 19 governors, the traditional rulers, led by Sultan of Sokoto, Saad Abubakar, and security chiefs, was described as a definitive push to harmonize responses to the banditry and social decay bedeviling the region. Chairman of the Governors Forum, Inuwa Yahaya, painted a sobering picture of the current state of the North, noting that the region is currently battling a grim reality of insecurity and poverty that threatens to destroy its social fabric. News Central's correspondent Emmanuel Bagudu was at the gathering, and he joins me now to provide a situation report. Thank you very much, Bagudu, for being here. It was not just a meeting of governors, but also of traditional rulers. Can you tell us about the resolutions by the leaders to end this scourge of insecurity in that region?
Yes, thank you very much. A very significant resolution. Of course, they are not mincing words about their resolutions. They are saying that, of course, they want a security system that is non-elitist. They are trying to say that they don't want a federally controlled security system. Even if it has to be a federally controlled system, it has to be localized. They want a central theater command in northern Nigeria. They want state policing, and then they want a situation where security is not just going to be an issue of that things have changed. Life has changed. There's development in every facet of life, and we cannot continue doing things the way we do before. So what they are saying is they want security to be as localized as possible. They want a centralized theater command, and they want state policing. That is what they are saying. And then Abubakar Saad, that's the Sultan of Sokoto, was bold enough to speak to the governors that they should listen to critics. That whoever speaks to them about insecurity, it's not about issue of politics, whether you belong to a party or you don't belong to a political ruling party or an opposition party. You should listen to critics. And then it's not an issue of, it's an issue of life and death. It's an issue of citizens' welfare. It's an issue of Nigeria's future. And if all these things are not being considered, that the northern Nigeria, which is actually, which has the highest population in the country, will have to settle for less. You will have to, face an existential threat in his words. Existential threat. In other words, the region is on the brink of, collapsing, is on the brink of anarchy and all of that, if all these are not considered. Yeah.
I want to pick specifically on state policing. That conversation has been on the table for a while. how strong of a conviction did you see among the leaders to push for its actualization, to remove it from the rhetoric and make it a reality?
Yes, in this particular case, they are speaking of state policing not the way people are thinking about it, because from their body language, they are speaking on state policing in terms of localization. They are not saying that every governor has a power to just go and to. They are talking about if there has to be a state policing, it has to be something that is communicating to the grassroots directly, not that kind of elitist kind of thing that is being that's happening and has not been working. They are pushing. They are saying that state policing, yes, but state policing based on the issues of that particular state. What we have in Zamfara is different from what we have in Kaduna. What we have in Kano and Jigawa have distinguished themselves from insecurity for a very long time. If no thanks to the recent alleged bandit incursion from Katsina, they have not experienced any terrorism before, which means they have their own specific issues. So they are saying that state policing, but based on what is happening in the state, based on the mentality of the persons in the state, based on the culture of the state. Because if you look at it, we have an issue of we have this state-based religious policing. The Hizbah we've been hearing about have successfully done a good job in terms of sanitizing some aspects of the northern society. We have seen them work in Zamfara, we have seen them work in Kano. So something similar. That's
Jack, please. I just want to confirm from you, how do they wish to actualize this? Nigeria is not just the northern region. Yes, they are looking for unique solution with the policing, but there's been a lot of, if you're citing Hizbah, there's been a lot of controversy around how they are going about prosecuting cases and, managing the insecurity in that area. So did they talk about specifics for actualization of the state police that they are envisaging?
Yes, in terms of specifics, their specification is the fact that, yes, it's a state policing, but not just what people think. Anytime they mention this issue of state policing, the first thing that...
No, Emmanuel, we already get that. We already get the definition. You've explained the definition of state police. What I'm asking is, what is the action, or what are the actions that they propose to take towards actualizing state police? Did they make that known?
Yes, they made it known. It's clear. They are going to rally around the lawmakers. They are going to rally around from the state assembly to the national assembly. I spoke to one of the governors who made it clear that they are going to rally around all the lawmakers, a total of 469 lawmakers, 360 from the House of Reps, 109 from the Senate. They are going to rally around them to make sure that there is a legislation that will bring the state police into reality. That's what the governor told me. He said they are going to work around that.
Okay.
And they are governors. Of course, they are very close to their state assembly members, and then they are also close to their federal lawmakers. They are going to rally around them to make sure that
I mean, the definition of state police, like you've clearly stated, could be interpreted at state, region, and decided on. But let's move a bit away from there and ask you about reports that you gave. You reported some stories about allegations of bandit incursion from Katsina to Kano. Was that on an agenda? Was this on the agenda at the meeting?
Yes, it was on agenda. The two governors have made it clear that they have resolved their differences. The two governors have met, and of course, you saw the speech there by Abubakar Sa'ad, the thought. That's talking about Sultan of Sokoto. So you remember the other story we directed at Shano, the local government, where Emir Sanusi made it clear on public TV that he is going to engage the Emir of Katsina. The emirs were there, the Emir of Katsina, the Emir of Zuru, all of them were all there. All the emirs were engaged traditionally, and the governors also engaged in their according to their office. So they made it clear that the problem has been solved. But that is left for us to track, because I have been in the field, I've gone to communities where they made it clear to me that of course communities are still negotiating with bandits, and they're making disadvantaged communities in trouble. So that issue, yes, the governors made it clear that they have solved it. But then that is left for us to track and to find out whether it is true or not. But we heard it several times. That we heard it the other time. Mohammed Sanusi II, the Emir of Kano, made it clear that he's going to engage the Emir of Katsina, and then that the governor of Kano is going to engage the governor of Katsina, and they said that they have solved that issue. But of course, yes, just last night there was an attack, alleged attack in Senyao local government.
All right.
So these are issues that we talk about here.
Emmanuel, thank you for the coverage.
Thank you.
Let's take this a quick video from the venue of the governor's meeting in Kaduna.
The issue before us is the stability, peace, and security of northern Nigeria. Future generations will remember us not just by the number of projects we commission, but on whether we bequest to them a northern Nigeria they can truly call home, a region where they can move freely without fear of attack and their security is guaranteed, safety assured, well-being safeguarded, and prosperity made possible.
So I think what we need to do is to allow these media people to go so that we face what really brought us here. We are not here on a media party. We are here to discuss very serious issues affecting the North, affecting Nigeria, and I believe as leaders, we need to really come up, as the governor of Gombe said, honestly, tell ourselves the truth. But I want to assure you, Excellency the governors, we are 100% with you in this drive to make North a better place, to make Nigeria a better place, because we don't have any other place to be. You have our confidence, you have our trust. You can reach out to us any time of the day. We will be available for you.
Coming up, News Central launches its Abuja studio with maiden edition of the 6th edition. It's Sundown News Bulletin that captures happenings around the world. We'll have details of that and more after now. President Bola Tinubu's administration has formally requested the Economic Community of West African States, ECOWAS, to provide additional protection for the presidential candidate in Guinea-Bissau's November 2025 general elections, Fernando Da Costa. This is amid alleged imminent threats to his life following the country's recent presidential election, which was cut short by a military coup. In a later dated November the 30th, 2025, and addressed to the president of the ECOWAS Commission, Nigeria's Minister of Foreign Affairs announced that President Tinubu had approved a security provision for Da Costa within the Nigerian Embassy premises in Bissau. According to the minister, the decision was taken as a proactive measure to ensure his safety amid rising concerns over the security situation during the tense pre-election period in the country. Now, News Central is marking another major milestone in its mission to redefine news storytelling across Africa. From its beginnings as a bold idea to tell fearless, factual, and African-focused stories, the station has now expanded with a brand new studio in Abuja, Nigeria's Federal Capital Territory. The new studio is expected to deepen coverage of national politics, governance, diplomacy, and the everyday reality of Nigerians at the center of decision-making. News Central's lead correspondent, Bernarda Kede, reports on the journey so far and the vision ahead.
For News Central, the story started with a simple conviction. Africa deserves a stronger voice in the global media space. From Lagos, the newsroom steadily grew into a Pan-African brand known for fearless journalism, immersive storytelling, and a commitment to stories that shape the continent's future. Over time, spreading across the nation was inevitable, and with Abuja being the heart of Nigeria's politics, policies, and international relations, News Central had to plant its feet solidly in the capital.
Abuja is a large city. It's the seat of politics, it's the seat of the presidency, it's the seat of the civil service. And so following all these agencies, organizations, in terms of news coverage, has been a Herculean task. We've had a management who has set a clear direction. This is what I want my team in Abuja to achieve. So we've had that clear direction, which has served as a sort of guidance.
Now, it's about to get even better. The new Central Abuja studio, equipped with state-of-the-art broadcast technology, designed to boost real-time political reporting, strengthen engagement with policymakers, and bring audience closer to the nation's most important conversations.
We innovate, we expand, we adjust, just so that we are able to do this job much better. We're able to fulfill our purpose, to tell the story of the African, to tell the story of the Nigerian, to tell your story as it ought to be, to bring it closer to the ears of the world and any other person that needs to hear. So that's what this means.
From covering national elections and global summits to spotlighting governance, accountability, and human interest stories, News Central has consistently positioned itself at the front lines of Africa's storytelling. With the Abuja studio now active, the vision is even clearer: to become the continent's most trusted source of credible, people-centered news.
In the last 2 years, we have made sure that we have planted ourselves firmly in Nigeria. Our root is getting deeper, and we're expecting that in the coming weeks and months and years, the root of News Central in Nigeria will get so deep that there is no way anything or anyone can shake us.
This expansion also signals a long-term commitment, not only to Nigeria's media landscape, but to elevating African stories on the world stage. With this new studio in Abuja, News Central is not just expanding, it's stepping deeper into the nation's core, closer to decisions, the people, and the stories that shape Nigeria and Africa. For News Central, Bernard Akere.
New Central milestone. The 2025 Ceres Africa CSR and Sustainability Awards have announced and honored organizations across the continent for outstanding contributions to social responsibility and environmental excellence, with New Central winning the award for Best in Sustainability Reporting. Placidia Iwekuye has the details.
Stakeholders from across Africa converge for the 2025 Ceres Awards, widely regarded as the continent's leading platform celebrating excellence in corporate social responsibility and sustainability. Now in its 18th year, the awards continue to spotlight organizations whose initiatives are driving measurable social impact. This edition saw strong participation from both private and public institutions.
And the winner is News Central.
For News Central Television, it was a proud moment as the station clinched the award for Best in Sustainability Reporting, a recognition of its commitment to telling stories that inspire accountability and positive change across Africa.
This moment is not just another ceremony, it is the celebration of a journey.
Organizers say the goal extends beyond celebration, urging African organizations to embed sustainability into daily operations and align with global environmental, social, and governance standards.
When we talk about sustainability from this context and going into the future, is that simply, right, we have to think about how we consume today in a way that guarantees that our children and their children and their children's children will have access to the same resources. That's what sustainability is. Ceres at 20, we are coming with innovation that people have never imagined. To celebrate that milestone and to make people understand we've not just come to be, we've come to stay. And whether I, as founder or CEO, is here next year or after or not, we've created something that with processes and all of that to continue to help us to bring out the very best, promote excellence, so that people can have standards to aspire to.
With renewed calls for stronger partnerships, deeper innovation, and more community-centered solutions, the 2025 Ceres Awards ended with a shared commitment to advancing sustainable development across the continent.
Thank you very much.
The Content Development and Monitoring Board has trained 40 personnel from the Niger Delta in oil spill response and crisis management. The 40 beneficiaries participated in the workshops and site visits under the guardians of petroleum industry experts. News Centre's Bola Festus has more.
A major hub for Nigeria's oil and gas production is prone to frequent oil spills. To reduce the impact, the Nigerian Content Development and Monitoring Board is equipping locals in spill detection and basic management techniques.
NCDMB core values building human capacity, and we believe in creating indigenous competency when it comes to the oil and gas sector. So what we want to do is to train Nigerians that can take care of crisis situation when it comes to oil, because crude, is the lifeblood of the nation.
Entrusted with the responsibility of promoting local content, the Nigerian Content Development and Monitoring Board periodically recruits locals and provide them with the training needed to address challenges in their communities and deliver prompt solutions. Through these trainings and certifications, beneficiaries are expected to serve as first respondents in the event of oil spills within their localities.
This is not just a classroom section. They've gone on site to see firsthand what happens when the spill happens. So they understand the entire process, and they are going home with not just the knowledge, but with also hands-on experience with startup kits that will help them as first responders in case of any of these emergencies occurs in their community. Really commendable effort on the part of NCDMB to continue to build capacity, develop local content laws that will help to train our youths to make them do better in the oil and gas sector.
On the case where we had an oil spill, so we had to employ the skimmers to clean up, employ the absorbent pad to do the clean up, and we had to make sure that the way we met the environment was the same way we left it, so as to avoid any contamination left behind. So we had the total cleanup simulation. We also went down to the high-prep site to look at the bio or the remediation activities going on, to see for themselves in firsthand what is going on site, and those activities they are expected to carry out after the training.
The participants expressed their readiness to enter the field, not merely as observers, but as individuals equipped with the necessary skills and knowledge.
This is not just a training, it was also more or less like a site visitation and a practical section of the skills learned here. Like yesterday, we were at the high-prep premises to monitor the remediation processes that is ongoing there, the works that has been done so far, and the various sites that has been remediated and those still under work. So this actually stands out because it's more or less like a practical section of what we are learning there, being explored out there.
We've been trained on how to respond in any cases of oil spill, though prevention still remains the basic, but once the spill happens, we've been adequately trained on what to do after determining whether it's first tier, second tier, third tier. This training has adequately prepared me for oil and gas sector, and I believe I'm now ready to dive into oil and gas.
During the training, we talked about, how these agencies, how they come in, how their job is to help, with investigation, with the remediation process.
In Rivers, for News Central, Bola Festus.
The news continues shortly. Thank you for staying with us. Reactions have continued to trail the new list of ambassadorial nominees sent to the Senate by President Bola Tinubu. While some say it is a right step in the right direction, others have expressed their dissatisfaction about the choices of the nominees, noting the list shows a growing pattern, the recycling of politically exposed individuals and former office holders in the diplomatic space. Prominent names on the non-career roster include former presidential aide Reno Omokri, former INEC chairman Mahmoud Yakubu, former governors Ifeanyi Ugwanyi and Victor Okezie Ikpeazu, as well as several former ministers and ex-first ladies. The career nominees include Enebechi Monica Okuchukwu, Musa Abubakar, and Yvonne Ehinosen Oduma, among others. Once confirmed, the ambassadors are expected to be assigned to key global partners such as China, India, South Korea, and Canada, along with strategic bilateral postings at the United Nations and the African Union. More ambassadorial nominations are expected in the coming weeks. This has dominated the media space for a bit, and to share their perspective, we have political analysts Victor Okai and Oludare Maridote. Gentlemen, thank you for being here. Let's start with you, Dr. Okai. A lot has been said in the media space. What are your thoughts, your initial thoughts when you saw this list?
When I saw the list, I was with mixed reactions. Obviously, in recent years, we have seen, perhaps because of politics, a mixture of both career and non-career ambassadors. But what I see this time is just, if you look at the way it is skewed, more of a non-career than the career, that's 17 to 15. And, I just detect some sort of cronyism. While I cannot speak to, I can't speak for everybody, but there are certain names that are there, then it just, sort of makes you wonder. The president has the right, obviously, to pick who he wants to work with and all that. But if you look at the pattern in recent times, people like Renner, for instance, and even Mahmoud Yakuba, you want to say to yourself, is this about reward or what exactly is it? Are you rewarding people for what they have done? Again, I don't have a quarrel with that, but especially that of Mahmoud Yakubu, who only just left office recently, it just makes it sort of untidy, sort of. And you know that obviously, what you call it now, perception is a very strong thing. We might be argued that he is equally qualified to be able to handle that role, but it is important. It's also important to know that there are people also from where he comes from who are equally competent, even among career, diplomats. And then another thing that worries me as well is how it is skewed in terms of the number of appointees immediately. While it may be argued that there are still more names to be added, but this initial one, we have, about 11 or 12 people who are Yorubas. And I'm not just saying Southwest. When we say Southwest, we just leave it at that. But a name like Senator Brent, they put Adama there. She's a Yoruba woman. She's a senator married to a man from Adama. And then are you saying that there's no competent person from Adama State? Kwara State? So we can go on and give examples like that. So
indeed.
It's a bit untidy, sort of, and I don't know what the president hopes to achieve in terms of his foreign policy goals, but I think it's important to put very serious people.
Oliveri, I wanted to ask you about the non-career nominees and the lack of experience that's generating a whole lot of conversation. Should that the lack of experience, is that a disqualifying feature, or there is more to the argument against some of these non-career nominees than just that?
See, anybody...
No, the question is to Oludare, sir.
Anybody. No, okay, not for me.
Yes,
okay.
Sir. Yeah. Oludare, if you can hear me.
That question?
Yes, the question is
I heard
for
the question. Yeah, you were asking about the skew towards the balance between the non-career and career.
The lack of the lack of experience. There are talks about some of the nominees don't have any experience. should that undermine their ability to become ambassadors, or do you think there is more to that argument than just the lack of experience?
No, not at all. Like it's world over whereby people select non-career. Barack Obama had about 40% of his ambassadors globally to be a political appointee. And while, yes, there's also role for the career people, but it's still like there is an office and there are career people that these political appointees or politically exposed people will be working on. So when it comes to being an ambassador, it's about who can, further the administrative policy of the government in power. So I understand the opposition's skepticism, but it seems as if the opposition still positioned its opposition. So they just want to oppose for whatever reason. There are so many things that you can criticize the president about, but not when it comes to things that he has the complete prerogative to do. He has chosen some people that you can maybe like Mahmoud Yakub, but he was also selected. Jega was made a minister. And so I understand that appearance and the perception that Mr. Touray was talking about, the perception that he was talking about, but these are not very germane. These are people that the president feels he can work with regardless of their ethnicity. He is a Yoruba man. There are actually a lot of Yoruba people in different states, including in the north. And so I understand that people are saying maybe selecting more people from the Yoruba ethnicity, but that is still not so germane because these are what's called political, this is something that he has the prerogative to do, and he's selecting it, and the list is not yet out. We have about over 183 countries in the world, 193 countries in the world. These are just about 30 people that have been announced. So this argument about the qualification, there is no exclusive qualification. People like Reno Mokri and maybe Femi Kapaika, they are globally known. And while you can say they are maybe police of the president, they are people that have been doing a good work internationally. Someone like Reno.
Okay, I will come back to you, Oludare. But Victor, your thoughts about his submission that the president has the prerogative, regardless of what people might think, he's within his rights. In 30 seconds, please.
The president is there to serve Nigerians, not to serve his personal wishes and talk about prerogative. I'm worried because if you look at the pedigree of some of these people, they are really uncouth. You might say that a man like Reno, for instance, okay, wears made in Nigeria and all that, but the way he talks, when you look at his language and all that, there's nothing, diplomatic about it. And it is important that we put people who are very stable in such positions. It's not about our prerogative. He should also be sensitive to how people feel about this. And they're going to be working with people in those countries.
Right.
How are they going to be perceived? That is also very important.
All right, there in 30 seconds, do you think reputation should matter in serving in public office in the ambassadorial capacity?
No, definitely. Reputation is everything, is the currency of every man. But regardless of what the reputation of these people might be, the president has the utmost prerogative by the Constitution. And you can definitely tolerate any form of criticism, but the reputation is not as important as the fact that the president has chosen these people to work with him because he believes in his own estimation that they can further his own agenda. And that is what we have to work with until 2027. Should he get a re-election, then he has another chance to select other people. So I don't have any issue with that when it comes to the ambassadorial list.
Gentlemen, thank you for speaking with us.
Thank you.
The Mainland Business Strategy Bootcamp, a two-day event aimed at helping entrepreneurs to uncover untapped opportunities within their ventures, opened in Lagos. The discussions focused on delivering practical frameworks and fresh perspectives to unlocking growth for businesses in Nigeria. Business correspondent Ebere Odo was there and brings this report.
And industry leaders converged in Lagos under the theme Acres of Diamond, engaging in sessions designed to reshape how they approach innovation and competitiveness in Nigeria's evolving business landscape. It was also a time to discuss government policies, collaborations, and community support in helping entrepreneurs harness local potential.
There's a lot of business, there's energies, there's enterprise across every industry. So the idea is for us to be able to mine the gems that are on the island. So whatever businesses or ideas that people have in their immediate communities.
Government is actually doing a lot in that regard, but they should do more, making businesses, making capital more accessible to businesses. With that, they can access. Currently, our interest rate is in double digits, very close to 30%. Government should do more in, bringing down on the interest rates, working on the inflation rate and the exchange rate.
One of the standout keynote sessions focused on the theme, Legal Proofing Your Business, which underscored the importance of protecting enterprise value long before problems arise.
When you look at your business, then you look at the regulatory environment of the business. And when we say regulatory environment, it's not physical environment. It's about what are the applicable laws and regulations that operate within your industry.
With the advent of AI now influencing every sector, speakers emphasized that deeper digital transformation is the only way businesses can overcome skills and growth challenges.
I think many organizations, businesses, not just in Nigeria but all over the world, we've had multiple years or potentially multiple decades of doing things the same way, being in charge of having to do stuff, and learning to trust machines is something difficult. So I think the first shift we all need to make is in our mind and in the culture of our businesses.
You can look at elements of the marketing mix. Look at the product service. Is it relevant to the target audience? Is it still relevant to the target market? Look at the pricing. Is it affordable to the target market? Look at your distribution and availability strategies.
The speakers shared practical insights with participants that will aid entrepreneurs to better navigate Nigeria's competitive business landscape while accessing local opportunities for sustainable growth in Nigeria. In Lagos for News Central, Ebere Odo.
Special advisor to President Bola Tinubu on policy communication, Daniel Boala, has lent his voice to the state of security in Nigeria. His take.
The difference is that this is an idea whose time has come. Before now, I know there were skirmishes of insecurity that occasioned the call for state police, but the situation at the time was not that bad enough to call for these state police. But with the recent development, I believe that it is clear to everyone, as you can see, everyday engagement on social media, the yearning for a lasting solution to the problems that is facing us right in the face. So I believe now, and as you can see, most lawmakers that I have heard are calling for that. Governors in states are calling for them.
Outside our shores, British MP Tulip Siddiq has been handed a 2-year prison sentence in Bangladesh after being convicted in absentia on corruption charges tied to land allocations involving associates of former Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina. Siddiq, who resigned as UK Treasury Minister earlier this year amid scrutiny over her family connections, denies any wrongdoing and is not expected to serve the sentence. Several members of Hasina's circle have faced similar persecution since her removal from office, many of them tried without being present. We're back with business, sports and entertainment news. Stay with us.
This segment is brought to you by MoneyPoint.
Let's talk business now. Nigeria's economy strengthened further in the third quarter of 2025, expanding by 3.98% year-on-year, according to data released on Monday by the National Bureau of Statistics. The growth surpasses 3.86% recorded in the same quarter of 2024 and reflects continued recovery in the oil sector. Average daily crude production rose to 1.64 million barrels per day, up from 1.47 million barrels per day a year earlier, though slightly below the 1.68 million barrels per day achieved in quarter 2 2025. The NBS report shows that improved oil output remains central to sustaining Nigeria's 4-year high growth momentum and supporting overall economic performance. Let's also tell you that the Center for the Promotion of Private Enterprises, CPPE, has strongly opposed the Senate Committee on Finance's proposal to raise excise duties on non-alcoholic beverages, describing it as economically disruptive, socially harmful, and procedurally flawed. In a statement on Monday, CEO Yusuf warned that the measure could further strain manufacturers, small medium enterprises, distributors and retailers already battling inflation, high energy costs and currency volatility. The CPPE highlighted risks of higher living costs, declining consumption and job losses. Well, we'll be back with the stock market report after this timeout. I'll tell you that the all-share index closed at 143,210.33 points, down 0.22%, while market capitalization is pegged at 91.08 trillion naira. While trading was relatively subdued, reflecting a cautious investor sentiment across key sectors. We'll look at sectoral performance, starting with the banking sector as it inched up 0.06% with slight gains in tier 1 stocks such as Zenith Bank. We see that insurance dropped 0.47% as investors trimmed positions in companies like Alieu. Now, oil and gas also dipped 0.11%, pressured by mild selling in Seplat. Consumer goods minus 1.01%, dragged by declines in Nigerian breweries and Dangote sugar. Industrial goods also declined 0.07%, with Dangote cement and BUA cement remaining largely flat. Well, it actually shows that the markets closed marginally low. And that's it on business. I am Lekon Onabanjo.
This segment is brought to you by MoneyPoint.
Hello and welcome to sports. Amusa Kilani emerged champion at this year's Ikeja Golf Club Championships, beating a strong field of 100 golfers. His closest rivals, Arnold Sharma and Jimo Ogundari, finished second and third respectively. This is the second win at the tournament, having previously won in 2023. The Ikeja Golf Club Championships is a prestigious tournament that attracts top amateur golfers from across the country. The 2025 edition was extended to 3 days to help golfers gain recognition from the World Amateur Golf Ranking. And according to Kelani, this year's tournament was very tough, adding that he almost lost hope at one stage. Meanwhile, with 20 days before kickoff, South Africa's national men's football team, the Bafana, have become the first country to unveil their squad for the upcoming Africa Cup of Nations. Head coach Hugo Bru's squad list features a blend of experienced campaigners and exciting young talent. Notable inclusions in the squad feature goalkeeper of the tournament for the last edition in Cote d'Ivoire, Ronwen Williams, while teenage sensation Relebohile Mofokeng makes the list. Bru's team is dominated by locally based players who boast continental experience under their belt through the CAF Champions League and Confederations Cup over the last 2 seasons. Bafana have been in excellent form, with the Belgian tactician steering them towards back-to-back AFCON qualifications and a FIFA World Cup qualification since last appearing as host in 2010. Nigeria's under-15 boys national team endured a tough start to their campaign at the ongoing African School Football Championships in Ouagadougou, Burkina Faso, falling 4-1 to a ruthless Cote d'Ivoire under-15 side in their opening Group B encounter on Monday. The result is a disappointing setback for the Nigerian team, severely hampering their ambition to advance from a group that includes regional rivals Benin Republic and Cote d'Ivoire. Cote d'Ivoire moved to the top of the group and will look to maintain their strong start as the competition continues, while Nigeria will now need to make swift tactical adjustments as the team prepares for its next fixture, with qualification hopes still alive but under early pressure. And that's all we have on sports tonight. Entertainment is up next.
And now in entertainment, actor Touray Arimoro has pushed back against committee reports issued after his on-set clash with Peggy Oviri, questioning his accuracy and transparency in a series of new video statements. He highlights major flaws, including his name being misspelled, the identities of alleged aggressors being withheld, and claims of falsifying CCTV footage. Allegations he firmly refutes. Arimoro also says no representatives from DGN, AGN, or AMP contacted him for his cooperation or well-being, stressing that while he isn't a member of those bodies, fairness still applies. Now he recounts the threats he says he faced on the day of the incident and rejects any form of intimidation, insisting the guild owes actors and the public accountability.